Hey everybody, welcome to another Blue Collar Sports Talk, March 9th edition. I'm Daryl, and I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of what we're going to talk about today. We'll start out with some Husker news on softball, wrestling, talk about the men's basketball and what they did last night. We'll have some XFL news. We'll even have a little bit of NFL news in the offseason. NCAA men's basketball conference tournaments are in full swing, and we're edging ever so closer to the big dance. Staying with basketball, we're going to look at some NBA games. We have the Kings at the Knicks on Thursday night. Thursday night game, Warriors at Grizzlies. Bucks at the Nets, another Thursday night game. Because James and I are Celtics fans and Roger is a Hawks fan, we have to discuss Saturday's Celtics at the Hawks. The Bucks travel to take on Golden State Warriors Saturday for a 7:30 ABC game. Monday, the Suns are at the Warriors. And now, here's our show. Hey, everybody, welcome to another Blue Collar Sports Talk. We've got the whole crew here today.
Yeah, good to be back.
Yeah, Roger's back off IR.
Hello. Morning.
And I looked out this morning and I thought it was going to be crazy. Huge snowflakes. And James is telling me, I haven't been outside yet, but James is telling me it's actually warming up pretty quick and it's melting off as quick as it snowed.
Yeah, and I didn't have, there's not any slush even on the road. It's melting that quick. Cars are tearing it up, and yeah, zero issues driving over here today.
Nice.
Not like the men's basketball team, but anyway.
Oh, yeah, we'll get to that here quick. I guess I'll start off with a quote from Tom Landry, since we mentioned losing. Tom Landry said, "When you want to win a game, you have to teach. When you lose a game, you have to learn." We'll start off with Husker news. Softball, I'll probably mispronounce her last name, but Caneda earned freshman Big Ten honors, and she is one heck of an amazing freshman softball stud. She helped our softball team. I think they went 5-0 over last weekend at the Hill and Brand Invitational, and she's currently batting. Let's see. For the weekend, she was batting .471. Went 8 for 17, 2 doubles, 1 home run, 5 RBIs, and 4 runs scored. So,
dang,
she is crushing it. So that was huge for the Husker ladies softball team. We even knocked off number 16 Arizona, and doing everything. So I wish the ladies the best of luck, and they hope they have continued success.
And the men's baseball team got a sweep, and our scoring runs plentiful.
Yeah, they also knocked off a top 25 team, maybe even a top 15 team. I can't remember what they were ranked. Our wrestling team is doing amazing. Coworker Chad said, if you can have a better Husker name than Allred.
Right.
Yeah. Silas Allred.
Yeah. Allred. He won.
And then to win the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
197 pounds, I think.
Dang.
Yeah.
What was it? The first time someone has won the Big Ten for UNL since, no, I read it. Now I got to find it. 2015. There it is. Robert Kokesh was the last one.
Not too long ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
yeah,
that's huge.
Yeah, I watched that the Big Ten wrestling. That was kind of interesting. I don't know. I just happened to be clicking through, and I didn't know it was coming on. I just tuned to it, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to watch this. And then when I watched us go 5 for 5 on Saturday, I'm like, okay, championships tomorrow. Let's see how many can win. And of course, our number 1 seed, Peyton Robb, he got beat by a freshman kid from Penn State, which Penn State's so loaded. Oh. They had 5 national champions last year, I believe.
Jeez.
And so we'll see what they do. They went 5 for 6 on Sunday. The only one that lost was Silas Allred. Beat the defending national champion.
That's huge.
Yeah. So he's
when he's one of 5 Huskers that are at the NCAA wrestling championships. I think it's next week, 16th through the 18th.
Yep, next week
in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but there's the Big Ten's got some talent in wrestling.
Isn't that crazy how talented the Big Ten is in just about everything?
Yeah. Right, quietly.
Yeah.
Football, SEC gets all the talk. Basketball, Pac-12 gets a lot of the talk. But somehow the Big Ten has teams there. And everybody's like, that's the Big Ten. Oh, wait, that's Big Ten again. Yeah.
Yeah, one more thing about the Big Ten was that Spencer Lee, that Iowa kid, is going for his 4th national championship.
Isn't that nuts? Jeez. Ever since he's been a freshman, he's just dominated everybody.
One, yeah.
Oh, and he's just amazing talent to watch. Just when you think you got him, he does some cartwheel out of the move and has you, and you're like, what the?
Right.
How did that just happen? I mean, I know these little 120-pounders are fast.
Oh, yeah, you got to be.
But this Spencer Lee's twice as fast as all of them. It just appears that way.
Yeah.
You just can't catch him either. I don't know if he greases himself up or what. It's funny.
Yeah, Cronin scored 2 escapes against him, but then Lee held on to the momentum and defeated him by 8-2. So that Spencer Lee just must be an amazing wrestler.
Yeah, I think Spencer let him go. He just got his 2-point takedown, and you let him go, and then he gets a point. You take him down again, you get 2 points, let him go. I've seen wrestlers do that in the past.
Oh, just keep scoring.
Take him down, get 2 points, and then let him go, and they get 1.
Yep.
But you just take them down. You just double the score every time.
Yeah.
And then you beat them 10-5. And I think in the past, I don't know wrestling too much, but once you get to a certain point mark, there one time they would call the match. So then, of course, you score 2 points at a time. And then if you actually get the guy down and get a near fall, then you get 2 more points. So, yeah. Like I said, I learned a little bit about wrestling this weekend, but I still don't understand it all.
Well, if you want to check more of it out, next week, 16th through the 18th. Actually, probably more than a week if my numbers are correct. Just about a week. Anyway, men's basketball played in Minnesota last night, and we let them off the hook. We took
first half. We were good.
We took 2 away from Minnesota in the season, and then we just couldn't get it done in the end.
Just bad shooting, and then free throws. Minnesota came in, worst in the Big Ten of free throw shooting, one of the worst in the entire nation at 60-some%. And at one point, after they'd fouled a guy on a 3-point shot, which, whatever foul, hits all 3 of them. He was a 62% coming into the game, hits all 3 of them. They're 9 of 11 as a team. And I'm like, wow. I'm talking about, knowing it's a big, Big Ten tournament, playing well and playing out of your norm. Minnesota played extremely well. The only thing bad, Nebraska, once again, had a bad shooting night, unfortunately. And the turnovers, of course, was too many. And just couldn't, it's frustrating because they should have had that game.
Yeah, I was hoping we would probably not watch all the sports and stuff, but Jamarquez Lawrence was honored Monday afternoon, selected Big Ten Conference Freshman of the Week, first time in his career.
Man, I hope he stays.
6'3" guard from Plainfield, New Jersey. And what do you have, 12 points? Dominga had 20.
23.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even Greisel had 16.
Yeah.
But
and going into the last 5 minutes of the game, Greisel, I think, only had 5 points. He finished pretty strong, but again, it was that in between there that Minnesota had a 7 3-point lead, 7-8 3-point lead, 8-9, and Nebraska just couldn't tie the game back up enough to take control.
Yeah, they out-rebounded us 34-28, and Walker only had 4 rebounds, where Greisel picked up a lot of slack there with 12. I didn't even want to watch it. I didn't want to jinx it. I didn't want to give it the reverse jinx and watch it and be like, well, and I didn't know I don't have that power, but
Right. It's in my head. I do.
man,
Right.
I was hoping they could get it done and keep moving forward into the Big Ten tournament, but yeah.
And just the experience of playing through the tournament, if they get into the NIT would be a good experience, but to lose to a team that you're better than, that you've already beaten. I mean, Minnesota came in with 8 wins. Man.
What an up and down season.
Yeah,
Very.
how close was that shot at the end? That
Right up the back of the rim. Yeah. It was very close for where he shot it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it kind of how they drew it up and he had a good look. It was right there.
Listening to it on the radio, you're like, why did Minnesota make that last free throw? They should have missed it intentionally. Then you had to throw the ball full court.
Right.
But they give them a chance to throw a baseball pass down the court, catch and shoot. And then it was like, oh my gosh, it about went in. Of course, listening to it on the radio, you don't know. But
Yep.
the radio sounded terrible. Our play-by-play announcer, he about cussed.
Yeah.
He's like, what in the... He goes, I can't believe illegal screen again. What's going on here,
Yeah. They were weak calls. I mean, I said it was more the shooting than the refs, but the last 5 minutes, the refs definitely didn't do them any favors.
No.
Have you guys checked out any of the other conference tournaments going on right now?
I've watched the ACC. I try to watch some of the Big East. They're tough to watch. But I have watched some of the ACC. It looks like Jim Boeheim's run at Syracuse is over.
I read that. I read that he's going to just pack it all in at the end of the season.
He wants to stay, but the university's already said that they're going to move on without him.
Did you see that Texas Tech's coach decided to step down after he was suspended?
I missed that one. He just got suspended?
I just read. Well, let me see if I can find that article here real quick. But
Okay.
Where did that go? Yeah, I thought that I read that he decided to step down.
No, but you said something about the other conferences. I watched a few of the championship games of the smaller conferences. Of course, Gonzaga, they whooped up on St. Mary's. And then I watched this Oral Roberts team play North Dakota State, I believe it was. And they just absolutely killed them. Our Oral Roberts team looks great. I don't know what they'll get seeded. I'm sure they won't be a 16 seed, but maybe a 13, 14, I don't know. But they could be a team to watch. Because I mean they scored 90 points. It was like 90 to 58 or something like that. So
solid defense too.
So yeah, Oral Roberts looks pretty good.
Yeah, this article came out at about 10 till 10 last night. Mark Adams has decided to step down, just days after he was suspended for using what the school called an inappropriate and unacceptable racially insensitive comment. And he didn't even coach him during their Big 12 tournament game against West Virginia. So I don't know. We'll see if he gets another job.
Speaking of West Virginia, they got Kansas next, and both games against Kansas have been super close. Granted, Kansas is going to have a little bit of a rest and ready to get ready for them, but West Virginia does play Kansas really tough. So if you're Kansas fans, watch out.
Okay, so if you're a Kansas fan, are you as frustrated as Husker fans for an up and down season? Because there's just some games that you're wondering, how did Kansas just lose that?
Right. Or how are they only winning by 3 points?
And yet they're still hanging on to potentially a number 1 seed still?
Number 1 overall.
Yeah.
Last I heard.
Yeah.
I think UCLA has a good chance of getting that. And Kansas win the Big 12 tournament. Yeah, they'll be up there. But I just think because there's no dominant team. I mean, honestly, Purdue had it for a little while, and we saw them lose down the stretch. Same Alabama just lost. So, it's going to be an interesting tournament this year. There's really no team putting themselves above. And you just mentioned Gonzaga. I think Gonzaga's starting to play pretty good. They were up there for a while, had some losses in between there, but they're another team that you can see in the Final Four.
Yeah. And I don't know exactly, but I looked at the odds on winning the NCAA, and I want to say I saw like 3 teams that were around the plus 600, plus 800. Well, 6 to 1, 8 to 1 odds, and then every other team was like 10 or 12 or higher. So yeah, there's no team out there that's like plus 2, to win a tournament. Usually there's always one team out there that's odds-on favorite, but there's not a team this year.
One team right now is supposedly a first 4 out, North Carolina, and they just won pretty handily. If they make a nice little run in this ACC tournament and get put in as a 14, 15 seed or whatever, I'd watch out. All those guys came back from last year's championship team or appearance.
Even last year they were the 8th seed, made it all the way to the championship game.
Right. Yeah. These guys know what to do in a tournament.
So even if they barely get in, they'll probably, the lowest they'd probably be would be like an 11 seed. They usually don't put them teams down there in the 13, 14 seeds, but I don't know, maybe North Carolina will win the tournament and be an 8th seed again, and look out.
Yeah.
Okay, so looking at today's schedule, you've got Miami at Wake Forest. They're 24-6. They're ranked 14th. They're in the ACC. Kansas, 25-6. Somehow they're ranked 3rd. Is the Big 12 that tough this year that their losses in the Big 12 has kept them and still at a number 1 seed?
That's my guess. I know the Big 12, Big 10 got a lot of love this year from the basketball people.
Because even Texas at 23-8, more losses than Miami is ranked ahead of Miami.
Yep.
But
do you guys know how many automatic qualifiers there have already been? I mean, I don't know how many small tournaments there are.
I think 11. Somewhere real close, right around 10.
Yeah, because ain't half the teams, ain't there like 32 conferences in all, something like that, 30, 32. So half the teams are automatic qualifiers.
Right. Yep.
And then the other 32 are at large bids or whatever they call them.
And then now they have those play-in games.
Yeah.
And so,
I'm real surprised they haven't expanded yet.
Right.
I thought for sure we'd be looking like at an 80 team, have instead of just 4 play-in games, have 16 play-in games. And then, of course, that'd be 80 teams. I thought for sure they would do that.
Money's there. I mean, you're right. I'm surprised they haven't either.
Yeah.
The amount of money for all those extra games.
Yeah.
Because the way it sits, Big 10 has 9, SEC 8, Big 12 8, ACC 5, and Big East 5.
Yeah.
And then the rest be from smaller conferences. But
yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and that North Carolina-Virginia, North Carolina's already beat Virginia. They played not too long ago, and North Carolina beat them. Virginia winning the first matchup earlier in the year, but North Carolina winning the most recent one. And then DePaul with a huge win last night. I don't know if you guys saw the end of that game. Down by 10. I'm sorry, not down by 10. Down by 4 with 10 seconds to go. They score, steal the inbound, score again, tie it up. It's like 2 points some on the clock. The team I forget who they're playing, went the other way, and the guy blocks it at the rim. They had to review it to see if it was goaltending. And they wasn't goaltending. It was a clean block. So DePaul pulls out the win late, down 4 with 10 seconds to go, and you lose. Or on the DePaul side, you win. A lot of momentum going to that Xavier game.
Before the big dance even starts, who's your guys' favorite for taking it all?
I like Houston. They're not getting a lot of love. But I think Houston's a really good team. I'll have them probably in the championship. It all depends on how the bracket breaks out, of course. But right now, my dollar's on Houston.
Yeah, somebody asked me last night, and I just right off the top of my head, I said Kansas, which I don't know. I don't know if that's who I'm really picking, but that's just the first one that popped in my head. Because wouldn't this be now who?
It would be back-to-back because they won last year.
They won it last year, but then was it the year before they got canceled? Or was it?
2 years before.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who won it in 21? Was that the Baylor? Was that the Baylor year?
Could have been.
I don't know. Because wasn't Kansas actually awarded the national champions of the COVID year? Or did they just not even hand one out?
I don't think they handed one out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Baylor Bears.
Kansas was actually number 1 at that time, and I thought they gave it to them by default, but I don't know exactly how that worked.
Yeah, I don't think they gave anything out that 2020.
Baylor did win 2021.
Okay, yep.
And
okay,
I'm a tie between the three. Purdue, they can beat anybody. Kansas can beat anybody, and so can Houston. And then don't forget Alabama. I mean,
yeah.
But they've all been up and down. They've gotten beat. So
yeah, I don't like Alabama. I don't like them winning it. I agree. Sweet 16 out. Yep. They won't make it to the Elite Eight.
And nothing against them. They've had some really good games, and they've looked really good in the season. But the SEC in that tournament historically are very bad. Even last year coming in, I think Alabama had a good team coming in. I know people probably had them picked winning games, and they just lose. So, yeah, I won't have any SEC team probably in the Elite Eight. And if I do, it might be Tennessee.
If the brackets were set up today, Kansas would be a number 1, and they would play really close to home. They'd play in Kansas City, which would help them out. But they would also potentially see Indiana, maybe Miami, maybe Kentucky, Michigan State, Arizona. I mean, if all things go right. So, I mean, they have a tough path.
Right, yeah. And that's why it's hard picking a winner now. And I think main thing is you don't know who they have to get matched up with. Some matchups just don't work out for a team.
And Alabama could be out, if the brackets were set today, Alabama could be out their second game if they meet Illinois.
Right.
Illinois could wipe them out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who knows? And then Houston, their second game, they get beat by Maryland if Maryland shows up and does everything that they are capable of doing.
Right.
But who knows? It could be a Creighton this year that comes along and surprises somebody a little bit.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know. Baylor? Who knows?
Yeah. That's why I love March Madness. You know?
We're going to switch gears for a little bit. XFL news. I am having a tough time of trying to even follow any of this. I haven't watched any games. I've tried finding, James and I have talked about trying to find the stats.
Right.
If you go to the game on ESPN, and I don't care what sport, hockey, soccer, baseball,
even the World Baseball Classic's giving you box scores.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now,
give you the box scores, but they'll give you.
I saw them this morning.
Are they on
the
the
ESPN? Yeah.
They'll give you GameCast and they'll give you in-game stats.
Yeah.
None of that is for XFL.
Yeah.
Right.
And all the stats are compiled only on XFL's site, and it's not per game. It's an overall.
Leaders. Yeah, it's team lead.
Yeah, you could even watch GameCast this morning on the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah.
If you know.
Yeah.
Just sitting there.
So why isn't XFL? Is it XFL not allowing it? Is everybody else saying no, don't do it because it's just an experimental league?
Saying that, so the the ESPN has kind of modified their scheduling. Not this week, but the upcoming weeks have switched a few games, few times. One of them, the Seattle game that's playing obviously on the West Coast, it's moving from like an 8 o'clock to a 10 o'clock start, which they said the ratings have dropped. So originally it was 2 million some viewers, 1 million some viewers, and I think this past week it was 800 some viewers. So it's going down. A lot of the comments I've read, I've done some look on it because I enjoy the games. I said they are very entertaining. My problem with the games is, like we talked about last week, is it's all access. You have the announcers talking the same time the plays are being called in, the same time the players are talking. You have too many people over talking. Well, now these comments were like, if you're going to have this all access, you might as well get used to the curse words. So now these, they have that 2-second delay. The FX, where the games are either, if not on ESPN, they're on FX, is literally muting the TV for like 4 and 5 seconds. So, and I get it. These guys are grown men, and they're probably saying grown men adult words in the heat of a moment, and you're muting them. So then turn off the all access. You know what I'm saying? If they want to hear a guy like DiNucci threw a huge touchdown pass, give him a lead last week. Nice, sweet pass to, by the way, Josh Gordon. He is screaming like a little girl from the 30-yard line all the way to the end zone. Just happy as can be. All right, they played that. But on the flip side, you have the other guys that give up the play that are cursing or, what the blah, 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 where I get it. You're going to have to mute it. Then don't put the all access. Anyway, that gets annoying while you're trying to watch your TV and then they're muting it on you left and right. And also, like you're saying with this, the FX coverage, the replays, and the trying to, see what happened or whatever, whoever runs their camera crew is hurting it. A lot of complaints have been with the FX, not the ESPN coverage. So I think it all comes down to getting the good product out there, and they might have good on the field, but the behind-the-scenes stuff definitely needs cleaned up if they want another season.
Yeah.
I did. You mentioned a great receiver. And you can tell when the great ones are playing with the other guys because he basically walks into the end zone backwards almost.
Right. Almost, yeah. He did turn around at the end, but yeah, he was kind of backpedaling and goes, yeah.
And we're talking about Josh Gordon. So he's surrounded by 2 or 3 defenders. He kind of grabs it while he's walking backwards almost, and he waits for all the defenders to go by him, and then he just basically walks into the end zone.
Yeah. Yep.
Super easy for him.
Yeah.
Very, right. Yeah. And I said, DiNucci threw a heck of a pass. It was a 4th and 2 call, by the way. And instead of throwing the 3-4 yard pass, get the first down, move the chains at the end of the game, you heard the announcer. This is another nice thing when they have this all access. The coordinator called in the play, and he called in a streak on the one side, and they had it short on the other side. And when they lined up, you hear the guy tell him, because they can talk all the way up to the ball snapped, and you can hear him tell DiNucci, go get it or something like that. So you knew he was throwing the streak. And it was Gordon. He must have saw them one-on-one matchup, and they completed it, won the game. It was real big. 2 teams undefeated. Houston Roughnecks, who, by the way, I still think is the best team out of all of them. The DC Defenders don't score as much, but their defense is really, really good.
Yeah, 2 undefeated and 2 winless teams.
Right.
And then the other one, they got, 1-2, 1-3. Or, 0-3, 2-1, 1-2.
Yeah. It's pretty even. I mean, yeah, you got 2 3-0s, 2 0-3, 2 1-2, and 2 2-1. So it's a nice mix. The St. Louis Battlehawks at 2-1, I think they're a weak 2-1. I like the Sea Dragons at 1-2. They have some talent on that team. I feel the most for the Brahmas, Hines Ward's team in San Antonio. They have led every game and lose at the end. They're 1-2. They did end up winning one, but all 3 games they've been winning in the first half and just can't complete it in the second.
2 games on Saturday, Roughnecks Guardians, 6 p.m. FX or ESPN Plus. 9 p.m. Brahmas at the Sea Dragons, 9 p.m. FX or ESPN Plus, and then 2 on Sunday, 3 p.m. and 6 p.m.
Yeah, for people who are just strictly football fans out there, and I mean, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, it's
a lot of people who just like football.
It's a great product.
You got XFL that runs from February 19th to May 13th is the championship game. And then in the middle of April starts the USFL. Yep. That runs to July 2nd.
Yep.
And then, of course, the last 3 weeks of July, there wouldn't be no football. And then in August, you get NFL preseason. And then in September, NFL starts up. And then, of course, in January, February, you got the postseason of NFL. So all in all, you got, like, if I did it right, I got 46 of the 52 weeks of the year now is filled with some sort of pro football.
Yeah, that's great. And it's not that it's a bad product. I just personally have a tough time being able to watch it while I'm at work because it's always on while I'm at work.
Right.
Yeah.
And for me, I like to look at the stats per game.
Yeah. Well,
and I can't.
We're not strictly football fans either. I mean, there's a lot of other better sports out there than XFL and USFL.
And right, so that's what I was going to add on this whole, the ratings are falling. Well, they got to realize, and this is why it's a bad time for football. When you have February, March,
it's against March Madness.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have conference tournaments going on, finishing.
Yeah.
And then, the end of the season, everybody's finishing out their regular season schedules. Then you have conference tournaments, rolling that into March Madness, pretty much from the second week of February, Valentine's, to the end of March, or I think their championship games, 1st of April, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Majority of the fans are going to be glued into March Madness. By the way, the NBA has some pretty good games that are deciding seeding themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if I'm going to start an XFL league, I know you are trying to pick up right after the Super Bowl, everybody still has that football fever and give it to them. But they're forgetting March Madness is huge. Ask Vegas. If The Rock had a phone call, he's like, dude, what do you think? Nah, dude, you might want to stay away from March. I'm just saying the billions roll in are not anywhere going to be knowing your game. It'll be towards March Madness because that's just where the love is at. It just started the 1st of April. I know that's where the USFL was smarter. They pushed theirs to April because as it ends, you're into July, spring training camps. So it's already all over ESPN. It's not games, but you have live look-ins. NFL Network does live look-ins every day, every team on. From the middle of July, because you get the rookies that report and then all that, and then
just for their Saturday and Sunday games, just competing just for NCAA. That's the Big 12, Big 10, ACC quarterfinals and finals, or semifinals and finals.
Right.
So if you're just a football fan, yeah, you're going to watch. But if you're a sports fan, I mean, flip of the coin, you go back and forth between channels. And again, that's why I'm really disappointed with the lack of, I'll point out ESPN, the lack of ESPN's, it's either their ability or willingness to add up-to-the-minute live stats and breakdown of game stats. That just really bums me out.
Yep. Oh, and guess what? Selection Sunday will be going on the same time that second XFL game is being played, by the way.
In sticking with football news, I'm reading rumors that I'm sure it's agents trying. Brady has been linked to meetings with Miami because they don't know what Tua's health is going to be like. Yep. Would that be a good fit? Who knows? Are they rumors? Are they gonna actually pan out? Who knows?
Brady's playing football again. He is.
I really think he would be too.
He is. I mean, that's going to happen. He's playing football again.
And to be honest, I would love it if he went to Miami. I think it would be a great fit for him and that team. Yeah, I think it'd be a great fit.
I personally think it'd be a better fit in San Francisco and a better chance for him to win another title. I don't see that happening anymore. But what happens if Purdy's surgery doesn't go the way it's planned? And I'm not wishing that on him.
Right. No, you're right. Right. And yeah, I mean, you're talking throwing elbow. Look at a pitcher. It's almost basically a Tommy John surgery. I don't know if that's exactly what he's getting.
The main tendon.
Yeah. But basically that had to be repaired. Now you got to strengthen it up and blah, 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 blah. I don't know if he sits. Obviously, it's way too early to tell how the rehab goes. And I mean, you got guys come back from ACLs in 8 months. So if anything, today's modern medicine has been huge to what we know and rehabbing. He could come back. But on the flip of that, Roger, I'm so glad you're here today because where do you want to see Aaron Rodgers go?
Oh, I don't know.
Not where you think he's going to go, but if you were able to say, go here, where would you put him on the teams available or whatever?
I don't know. I guess I never thought about it. I've been thinking more about Lamar Jackson and his whole fiasco with, but.
Oh, yeah, and they tagged him.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, all you hear about is the Jets right now. So I guess that's what I've been thinking is him going to the Jets. I guess I don't have any other.
How about this?
Right off the top of my head?
You're Aaron Rodgers' agent. Where do you try to get him to land to either, one, get the best money or the best chance at a title?
I guess I'll just stay with the Jets. I think the Jets got a good team. I do.
I really do too. If they're one position away from winning it, because their defense was amazing. The Raiders are still a mess.
But they have the leading rusher. You had Devontae Adams. Oh, by the way, they're friends.
Worst defense
and Waller. You're right. But now you have Aaron Rodgers going to elevate everybody. I don't know. I think if he goes to the Raiders, they push Mahomes for that West.
Okay.
But that's my opinion, obviously.
Well, and then Derek Carr goes to the Saints. I don't know if that made the Saints any better because without Sean Payton there, they're really not the same team. No. They're really not.
Now, is it a step up from Winston? Well, yeah. I mean, it's not too hard to get a step up from Jameis Winston. When I saw that, I was like...
Or Andy Dalton.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I was like, okay, cool. But yeah, it wasn't like, oh, ooh, Saints have something. They got a lot of talent there. I mean, we don't know if Kamara's going to be back now. Thomas is always hurt. I mean, they'll have a decent season, maybe 9 or 10 wins. I don't think it's much more than that.
I think the team that I want to see do even better are the Jaguars, and see what Lawrence and the cast around him can do. And as you get another season of experience under your belt and you build on that, it may not matter where Aaron Rodgers go.
Right.
And again, Derek Carr going to the Saints, I really don't think that's a big deal. I think congratulations to him for making that big money.
Right. But the Jags just got Calvin Ridley back.
Yeah.
Huge.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know why the Falcons let him go.
Man, Rodgers is loving that.
Oh, your Falcons have I don't know, your GM, all of it. It's been a mess, hasn't it, for the last 5 years?
Yeah, I don't know what. I know that they've had some quarterback issues with Matt Ryan's decline and not having a good quarterback this year. But yeah, letting Calvin Ridley go, and then of course dealing with injuries. Their Kyle Pitts got injured last year too. So
what if Rodgers, Atlanta sneaks in and makes Rodgers a deal, or at Green Bay a trade deal, and Rodgers goes to Atlanta? Do they win 12 games?
Oh, I don't know if they win 12, but I think they'd be a playoff team.
Team?
Yeah.
How about this? How about the Arizona Cardinals come in and snipe him, and then it's another one of those aging players that goes to another Arizona pro team and then declines even faster.
Yeah. I think it's great, though, and the whole Jets thing that's literally what Favre did. Green Bay to the Jets towards the end of his career. Did some nice things, and then before he went to Minnesota. So if Rodgers goes to the Jets, and pretty much the same thing, a little lightning in the bottle, but nothing really happens, and then finishes his career in Minnesota after Kirk Cousins leaves, oh my gosh, dude, it would be a laugh. Yeah. Huge. The memes would be great. Get them ready.
Kobe Bryant quote, and then we'll move to basketball. Heroes come and go, but legends are forever.
I'll 100% agree with that. One, and I'm not going to get into the weeds of it or whatever, but Sean Kemp. When I was a young person watching the NBA basketball, Sean Kemp was one of my favorite players to watch. I was a huge Celtics fan, but whenever the Sonics were on, and Gary Payton, Sean Payton, Detlef Schrempf, and all them, when they went against the Bulls, I totally would have lost thousands of dollars if I had it, because I thought they were an amazing team. Anyway, Sean Kemp dunking, down on the post, running the floor. I love Sean Kemp. And then now, like I said, he was a great player, out of sight, out of mind. Now he's in trouble. I was like, dude, you could have been a legend, but did you see like towards the end of his career where he was like an extra 50 pounds heavier, all swole? And I was just like, really, Sean? Seriously? You don't remember that?
I do. Yeah,
He was almost like
I'm shaking my head because he just got booked on felony drive-by shooting charges.
Right. Yes.
What goes through your head? And this is a good segue into
Ja.
Yeah. Okay. So that was our second game on Thursday. The Warriors or Grizzlies. Will he be back? When will he be back?
4 games.
I know, but I also read rumors that they're considering cutting ties with him because of how bad it is. Now, again, that's a rumor.
Right.
So
okay.
Who knows?
All his charges were dropped by
the police.
The police.
Yes. Yeah. And they were only investigating. The NBA investigated to see if he was at an NBA facility where you're not allowed to have a gun, and the police were investigating if he had been drinking, because you're not allowed to drink. They have an open carry law, so he was legal there. But if he had alcohol in his system or a drink, then he would have been in violation. They had no proof otherwise, and he was not in an NBA establishment, so neither place has done it. I think the NBA is doing that 4 more games for the whole detriment to the NBA or making us look bad thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, after that, it'll be up to the team. What do we think of any of the other side stuff, blah, blah, blah. So,
and then that's Thursday. That's tonight's game, 6:30 ESPN game, Warriors at Grizzlies. So they will be without Ja Morant.
And, I mean, I don't know if we're going to do the standings too early. So we had talked a couple weeks ago, the end of February, and I was like, yeah, let's look at where the standings are. So into February, Golden State's number 9, and then Memphis Grizzlies was number 2. Well, right now, the Memphis Grizzlies have fallen to 3, and the Warriors have actually moved up. I don't have it wrote down, sorry.
No, you're right. But also, last year, the Grizzlies played better when Morant was hurt. I feel that the Grizzlies might be more of a talented team without him playing team basketball. That being said, somehow Vegas has Golden State favored on the road, and they are almost the worst team on the road.
Yeah. If they're not the worst, they've got to be one of the bottom 5. Memphis goes in losing 3 straight at Denver, at Clippers, at LA. The LA one baffles me.
Yeah, and again,
maybe that's it. I don't know.
The Warriors lost to OKC on the road. The Warriors lost to the Lakers on the road.
Dude, Anthony Davis, on a side note, we'll get to those guys in a minute, but yeah, Golden State on the road is not good.
And Oklahoma City, just amazing. Just amazing team. Anyway, Warriors at Grizzlies, I don't see Golden State winning, but maybe they do.
Yeah, Golden State's moving all the way up to 5 now.
Yeah, Memphis is second in the West. Golden State's...
And Memphis at home is 26-5. And again, okay, so remember last Thursday, or I'm sorry, you were off. So Friday when you came into work, I came up to you and I was like, dude, all of our picks were so bad last week.
I don't think
totally
we maybe got one of them right.
Right. Yeah, you did. I actually went over. But yeah, again, I mean, outside looking in, this should be a Memphis win with or without Ja. But, you know, if Golden State's starting to click, it very well could be. Like I said, they've moved up to number 5. They're in, you know, if they keep winning. And Memphis is not doing good. They're starting their slide. And again, you know, and it could be all the turmoil following Ja in the locker room. Is their mind not on the games? But they might want to get their head straight because...
There's a lot of injuries on both sides, too. So all those factors will play in. I just don't see the Warriors getting it done on the road. They're one of the most pitiful teams on the road this year.
Yep. I like Memphis at home in this game, even without Ja. I like Memphis at home.
The 9 o'clock TNT game on Thursday, Kings at the Knicks, and the Kings are currently 3rd.
2nd.
Ooh, they even went up.
They moved up last night. Yep.
And the Knicks are moving up in the East. Gosh, the Knicks are so talented.
They've moved up. They're number 5 now. Still down there. They're 3 or 4 games behind Cleveland. But you're right. Knicks are playing some good basketball. But I still like the Kings at home. I mean, you got to score 130 to beat these guys.
In the last few years, the Knicks have picked up some amazing people. One that just stands out is Jalen Brunson. Just an amazing scorer, great hustle, both sides of the ball. Evan Fournier isn't playing a whole lot, but he does contribute. Derrick Rose, up and down. But RJ Barrett, Josh Hart, these guys can get it done. And that young kid, Emmanuel Quickly, he annihilated our Celtics the other night.
Yeah, he did.
So this game is interesting because, the Knicks are at home, but you're right. You have to score 130 or play some defense to stop them.
Right.
I'm going Knicks all day long on this one. At home.
I like Sacramento. It's a big West Coast, right? They're at Sacramento. Knicks have to go all the way over there. 8 o'clock game, so it'll almost be like 11 o'clock to the Knicks. So
in the last 5 games, both of them are 4-1, and the Knicks just recently lost at Charlotte 2 nights ago.
Yep.
I'm sorry, at home.
At home, right?
But
blew a lead too.
Yeah,
it was a double-digit lead. Not a very uncharacteristic of a Knicks team, and I totally agree with all the talent they have. But once again, they're still not talked. I mean, to me, I would think the talk would be more the Knicks and less Philly. But there's still a talk, Bucks, Celtics, Philly, Bucks, Celtics, Philly. The Knicks have the talent. I don't know if it's a coaching thing, if it's a play thing. I don't get it either because a team like this, I mean, actually, if you put them out west, they're probably second or third in the West. They're that good.
Knicks beat the Kings last time they came to New York, 112-99. A lot of defense was played to keep the Kings from scoring 100. Yep. So moving forward, Bucks, Nets. Nets look better without internal drama, obviously. And the Bucks continue to rise and do great stuff. They're now the number one team in the East.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the Nets have talent. We watched them playing against Boston the other night when Boston blew that 28 first half point lead. They got some talent from those trades. I don't know if it'll help them out this year, but man, if they build in the draft and come back next year, Brooklyn could be really, really good without those three big dogs.
Brooklyn good enough to stay where they're at and stay in the playoffs?
They might follow the play-in. Like I said, they're gelling okay.
I consider the play-in the playoffs.
Okay.
Myself, I do.
Right.
I mean,
I would too.
You're playing for the postseason. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, there's what, 20 teams that go, so there's 10 teams that are not playing for the postseason.
Yep.
So if you're in the play-in game, I call that the postseason.
They got 37 wins. The number 10 team has 31. I mean, obviously, they just need to stay ahead of Atlanta, Toronto, and Washington. Right now, those three teams are in the play-in. The Bulls are sitting at number 11 with 30 wins.
Now, why are they so terrible?
Well, Ball went out. He's apparently going to look at a third knee surgery now. I don't know if the first two didn't take or even more damage than what thought, but their true point guard, their facility, he's out. And he's been out pretty much most season. He's gone.
Yeah, but when they got that center from the Orlando Magic, I don't even know how you say his name.
Yeah.
Bruce or something like that.
Yeah, but, you just thought, well, boy, the Bulls are going to be a great team. And they just never...
But, yeah, then you see some games where Levine and them go off, and you're like, oh, here
killers.
we are.
Yeah.
Right. But they just can't beat the teams that they're even with. Like, they go against, nothing against Atlanta, but they'll go against Atlanta and lose by 10 or 15, then play the Knicks and win by 7.
Lose at Houston and come back and kill Boston.
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
Yep.
You asked Roger if the Nets can stay in the play-in. I mean, looking ahead, you have Milwaukee, Minnesota, Denver. Those are 3 games I don't see them winning. OKC probably kills them. Sacramento Kings could kill them. Then Denver again. They play Cleveland, Miami. I mean, they have a tough schedule to finish it out.
By the way, Bulls beat Denver last night.
Oh, yeah, badly.
So, you're right. I don't get it. And they're still sitting at 30 wins. But I didn't mean to cut you out there, Daryl, but I just wanted to throw that at you. Giant killers.
No, yeah.
There they go.
Yeah, they are. They are. It's huge.
I do think the Nets can stay in that playoff, one of those 10 teams. I would like to see them, now that those other guys aren't on the team, I'd like to see them do something, as long as it's not against Boston.
Yeah.
And another point for the Bulls, they can play defense. They held the Nuggets under 100 points at home in Denver.
Right.
All right.
Fact.
Saturday, the Celtics at the Hawks. Hawks. I don't know. I don't even know what to say.
Quinn Snyder's there, right? He is coaching now?
I don't know. I know they hired him, but I didn't know if he was going to finish the season, or do you wait? Do you just throw him in the mix?
I don't know.
Basketball is weird like that. I wouldn't think, but he did get hired pretty quick.
Well, they fired their other coach,
they did.
I assume they...
And they started playing a little bit better. So was he that bad?
Yeah, because I always heard he was a player's coach. I heard a lot of love for him, but I mean, Roger, you know any?
Yeah, I don't know. I
Did it kind of surprise you though when they let him go?
No. I mean, I don't know the whole story behind it, but no, it don't surprise me anymore.
I told Daryl, I was like, not that they're great, but they play really good basketball. They're very competitive. I'm surprised they didn't wait to the end of the season. That's what surprised me the most is that they didn't let them finish the season. So I don't know if something happened. There's an argument behind closed doors, maybe. Some words were said. And they were like, I don't know.
I know there's a lot of teams playing around 500, and, you're always like, oh, well, they should be better than that. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean.
Yeah, you're right.
Maybe being 35 and 31's a good record in the NBA. in the regular season,
Especially this year. I mean, there's a lot of teams. I mean, they talk about how I don't think the West is that good, but a lot of people think the West is super good. And a lot of them, no one has 40 wins. But you get over the East, and there's 4 teams with 40 wins, So
yeah.
I can't call it parity or whatever, but I think that East is tougher. Because I said, if you put the Knicks over there in the West, I think they're sitting at 40 wins. I think they're better than the Memphises. They were better than the early Phoenix team, the Clippers teams. Anyway, I think the Hawks at 33-33, if they can get better, they're in the playoff right now. They just need to stay around that hover in that same spot.
First week, I pulled up an article. First week of March, Quinn was already coaching. And this article came out March 2nd. So they said it's been kind of a whirlwind for him, and he's already putting in culture and program foundations that he's used in other places to help the Hawks. So he is definitely in the coaching seat moving forward.
Wow. Okay.
And I think that's huge for Atlanta. The amount of talent that they have on their team, I feel that they should be way above the 500 mark. But
yeah, well, now you're trying to change scheme, change culture at the same time of trying to stay in the playoffs. So he's got quite a battle for him. Yeah, I can imagine the turmoil. But if those players buy in, he's a good coach. Snyder's a really, really good coach.
Yeah, and the Atlanta Hawks don't have any injured players right now. Peyton Pritchard might play by Saturday, but Robert Williams III is definitely out. I honestly see Atlanta playing them really tough at home, and knowing it's an Eastern Conference game, I think it'll come down to just probably the last few seconds.
Yep. I noticed one game we don't have on here is the Mavs and Grizzlies, and that game's huge right now. You got Mavericks sitting at number 8, Grizzlies at number 3, only separate a few games. And again, we had said it. I know it's don't beat the dead horse. I don't think the Irving trade made Dallas better. They're about the same team. And if you look at the standings from a couple weeks ago to now, they're about the same. I mean, they're almost 500, I think, with Kyrie Irving on the team. But it's another big win. Grizzlies need this one to stay up top. They want at least a home court for the first round for them.
I was smiling and chuckling a little bit because the first few games that Doncic and Kyrie Irving played together, I looked at the stats. All I did was look at the stats. And those two took 80% of all the shots.
Yes.
And it was bad. No one else played, basically. You could have been just standing there picking your nose in the corner and I'm like, oh, well, he'll take it. I don't have to do anything.
All right. And think of the Bulls and Pippen. They could have took 80% of the shots and they didn't. That ball worked around. I mean, Cartwright in the middle was getting his points. The big white dude, I can't think of his name. Longley, yeah. Longley would finish with double-doubles. You know what I'm saying? So you have to keep those guys feeding. You have to make the defense stay honest. And I think when it comes into the game, the defenses are like, we can play off these. We double off of him and just get on those two. And then now Luka hurt. He got hurt last night. I want to say it was a quad or a thigh injury, something. So he left. They ended up losing to the Pelicans, who, by the way, are trying to get their way up. So another down thing for Dallas. Again, I think they'll sit around 500, make the thing, and then lose in the playoffs.
They are really good, though. They barely lost to Phoenix Suns, and just because Luka didn't make that final shot. So we have 2 games left, and it's Bucks and Warriors and on Saturday, and then Monday it's the Suns at Warriors. So,
and the good thing is it's Bucks at Warriors, so the Warriors have a chance.
But do they? Because the Bucks are just playing amazing right now.
Right. Well, right, but the Warriors at home are extremely well. They're definitely a different team at home. But I think the Bucks, unfortunately, are the best team in basketball right now. Celtics are not a close second, but they're there. But right now,
if Andrew Wiggins is still out by the time they play the Bucks, I don't give him any chance.
Right. Nope. Fact. Yeah.
And then 2 days later, when the Suns come, I don't give him a chance. But Durant is very tender. I mean, he injured his ankle in warm-ups the other day.
Did you see the clip?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how you missed that. That's almost like when you step on someone else's foot and you roll off the side of it. He almost did that with air because the way he stepped, his ankle buckled like he stepped on something. But by the way, he's the only one around the basket. And yeah, tweaked it.
So having seen that, and I couldn't remember, is that the surgically repaired Achilles side?
I think the right, that was his left. And I believe the right was his Achilles. But either way, you know how it is, though, when you sprain ankles, they never 100%. Every doctor will tell you, hey, you can try to strengthen up, do this, but once those ligaments get stretched or weak, it's forever. So the only thing you can do is give them support. Yeah, give them support.
Kid's fragile.
Right.
Even though the Warriors are banged up, I'm going to say the Suns beat them on Monday.
Well, before Monday, Kings at Suns. Now, so if you're a betting man, I don't know what the over-under is until later, but I'd be taking the over on that game.
Oh.
It's got to be pushing 300.
Yeah.
I'm thinking 298, 290. I mean, holy smokes, that's going to be a good game. But yeah, then you got Suns at Warriors. Could be a Western Conference Finals preview, maybe. But again, I really, really like the Suns.
Warriors
Kevin Durant is
figure
amazing.
out a lot of stuff. I don't see them getting out of the first round.
Right. I think Kevin Durant is amazing, though. I love that he went to the Suns because, if I had to pick a West team, I like Phoenix.
We're going to move on from basketball. Roger, I think you have some hockey stuff for us.
I got some hockey. I got some WBC. I don't care what you guys want to touch on first.
Let's go with hockey.
All right. Yeah, you guys, I heard your podcast here, I think a couple weeks ago. You were talking about the Bruins. They are gonna break that record.
Golly.
They're gonna break the 132 Montreal Canadiens point records. They might even get the wins too. I don't even know what the wins record is.
62.
62.
Yeah, and I think they were on pace for 63 or 64.
So yeah, I think they get both. But I will put kind of a damper on the whole thing. I mean, because I kind of wrote down the Patriots went 16-0, lost in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The Warriors went 73-9, lost in the finals. Seattle Mariners and the Chicago Cubs, which both teams are split by about 100 years, but they got the record for 116 wins in baseball. Neither team won the World Series.
Nope.
So just because you have a great season doesn't necessarily mean. And from what I see in hockey is the Colorado Avalanche, who haven't been crazy this year good. They still got the second best odds.
They're consistent.
In winning the Stanley Cup this year.
Yeah, they're so consistent. What's amazing for me, for the Bruins, is that they fire Bruce Cassidy and they replace him with Jim Montgomery, and they're just having an amazing season.
Yeah.
And the Bruins were 25-1 odds at the beginning of the year. The New Jersey Devils were 70-1 odds at the beginning of the year. And both teams are in the top 5.
Yeah.
Carolina Hurricanes are up there. Of course, the Toronto Maple Leafs are good. The Vegas Knights are good. And then, of course, Tampa Bay Lightning, what they've been in the finals the last 3 years.
Yep.
So this Bruins team, as well as they're playing in the regular season, it's not no walkthrough in the postseason.
And
was it 2 or 3 years ago the Avalanche were the top team?
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yep.
They didn't have the record that the Bruins did, but they almost got swept.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to tell you. I think hockey, I don't have the stats like all the big people have, but I'm pretty sure hockey, there's more one-seed upsets than there are in football and basketball. You know, that 7-game series, obviously when when the playoffs start, throw all the records out the window.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's more one-seeds lose in hockey in the playoffs than they have in any other sport because it's...
I believe that's correct.
Yeah. I love Jersey this year. Tampa Bay, you can never look past. This is just staying in the East with Boston, who they would have to face. The Maple Leafs are super strong. And oh, by the way, the Rangers can go on a streak also, and they just picked up Kane. So once he gets in the mix there, the Rangers could climb the standings. And Boston, like I said, great regular season. Here's a little trophy for you, but you might not get the big cup.
Yeah. Yeah, New York Rangers is another team I didn't mention, but yeah, they're always great in the postseason.
Yeah. I can't go. Stupid Rangers.
And then this Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
Every time I say his name, I want to say Conor McGregor.
Right?
But yeah, Connor McDavid.
He's a warrior.
He's got 28 more points than the second place guy. He's on pace to surpass, is it Steve Yzerman for the Red Wings?
Yep.
Yeah, 155. He's on pace to get 156. And of course, if he does that, then there will only be two players in the history of hockey who've scored more points in a season. And that's, of course, Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux. It's pretty good company to be in. And he's in his 8th season. He's only 26 years old. So
26.
So,
yeah.
I mean, he looks like the real deal. He looks like he's, if he's one of these guys who played till he's 40, look out. He might just have some records that I don't think he'll ever get to Wayne Gretzky's assist record, but the goals record and all that, which
I watched him in the All-Star game. He won the sniper competition, hitting the little plates thing, and how fast he was doing it and looked effortless, just hitting those boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
And it was funny because he won because his other teammate, I forget who the guy was, they weren't actually going against each other. The guy that was cruising through it tried to reset his puck, trying to be fancy, and Wayne McDavid's just sitting there flipping them and finished it. And they were all cheering when the dude won. And then they turned and looked like, dude, McDavid already finished like 2 seconds ago. No big deal, though.
Yeah.
So, everybody's like, oh, wait. Yeah, he totally won that, just firing it away.
Yeah.
Upcoming potential stars in the NHL world, look at the men's Frozen Four. College hockey, the NCAA field will be announced March 19th on ESPNU. Regionals start March 23rd through the 26th, and then the Frozen Four is set for April 6th through the 8th. So that's men's college hockey. Potential NHL stars coming up there, and that's usually always a good tournament if you're a hockey fan. So just so much sports here in the great month of March.
So we're going to talk about how we talked a little bit earlier about the ratings and the XFL, right, and what they go against. So just doing our talk and going over all these different sports. Come Saturday, 10 a.m., most of your tournaments will be in their semifinal games. Some will be in their finals. From 10 a.m. to like 9 o'clock that night, you're going to have tournament games going on. You have some big NBA games that we talked about Saturday. Don't forget Celtics, Hawks. In golf, you have the Players' Championships going on Saturday. And then not to mention, the XFL has their one game at 6 o'clock. All those going on Saturday, just Saturday. And then roll into Sunday. Now, like you say, we have those championship games. You have the NBA. Oh, and the World Baseball Classic, that's the other one I was forgetting. They have like 8 games slated for Saturday. So, again, XFL, good luck. But, I mean, the deck is stacked against you.
And Roger, you probably told me, remind me where the World Baseball Classic is being played at.
Oh, there's 4 different venues right now.
But it's
there's 4 pools. They do pool play. They expanded from 16 to 20 teams, so there's 5 teams in each pool now. So you play all 4 teams. One's in Taiwan, and you put me on the spot. Well, of course, one's in the United States somewhere, but of course they don't start playing until Saturday.
Right, that's going to be at Chase Field.
Okay,
I'm not sure where.
And
that's
I don't know where the other 2 venues are at exactly.
Yep.
But of course, Pool A, which is your
Tokyo, Phoenix, Miami.
Okay,
and
so
then
one
Taiwan.
one is in
Taichung.
Yep.
Taichung.
I was going to guess one was in Japan.
Yep. So the U.S. is in Pool C. They have Mexico, Canada, the U.S., Colombia, and Great Britain are all in that pool for Pool C.
Yep. Yeah, Pool A, of course, their games, in the Asian countries. So they started already Tuesday night. And then, of course, the Pool C don't start till Saturday. I don't know. I guess Pool B did start because that's Japan and China and them teams.
Yeah, Japan.
And so they started this morning.
Japan whooped China 8-1.
Yeah, I actually woke up and that game was still on, and Otani came up in the bottom of the 8th with bases loaded, Of course, it could have been if he could have hit just a bases clearing double or a home run, they would have walked it off in the 8th because it's a 10-run mercy rule after 7. But he didn't. He popped up and got out.
Right.
But he still went 2 for 4. 2 for 4.
Yeah, with the double.
With 2 walks. So he was actually 6 plate appearances, on base 4 times.
And China's terrible.
He didn't pitch. I did look that up.
He did. He pitched 4 innings, gave up 1 hit.
Today he pitched?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, pitched 4 innings.
All right.
Yeah, and was mowing them down. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
But they were really, the only reason I was watching ESPN this morning and they were showing that they were really talking them up. And I'm like, we all know China's not a good baseball team. I mean, they don't have any kind of pitching. This game was supposed to be a 10-run. They really expect Japan to go in there and slaughter them.
Yep.
China kept it close. They left 13 base runners, Japan did. So China did their thing, and if there's a bend, don't break in the baseball, that's kind of what they did. And likely had a pickoff, had a couple of running errors, get Ohtani to pop up. But yeah, so I really can't look too hard into this because Japan's already a loaded team. China's like playing the Marlins. They're every once in a while they'll show up. So we'll have to see what they do a little bit later on.
Yep.
I will try to leave a link for the World Baseball Classic in the description on the YouTube portion because it does list the schedule, it lists where you can watch them, Tubi, FS1, and a few other places. So
yeah, but just to touch a little bit on some of the teams. I mean, the U.S. and the Dominican teams are just, of course, loaded. This Puerto Rican team, which it's early in the. I think as the tournament goes on, starting pitchers can pitch a little longer, but early on, they're limited. So to me, it's kind of like a bullpen game. This Puerto Rican team, they got a heck of a bullpen. This Netherlands team, they made it to the Final Four in 2017. They're just this is a very good tournament to watch. Panama was a team that qualified this year, and they've already beat Korea, and they played the Netherlands to a 3-1 loss, but played well. It's these teams that people don't expect to do real well. They come in and they play well. 2017, Israel went 3-0 in the first round, that shocked everybody. But yeah, I love this tournament. I do. I think it's just a great tournament. And of course, I'm a baseball fan, but yeah.
So
the best of the best, and it's fun to see them not on their MLB team, and it's
and if in the second round, if the U.S. and Japan play each other again, we might get to see Ohtani striking out Trout or Trout taking him deep. Who knows?
Yeah.
So I see what you're saying. If you look at the stats, it's not showing Ohtani as pitching, but they're only showing 5 innings of pitch by Japan, 3 by Togo, 1 by Yusa, and another one more inning. So that's only 5. And then at the bottom, they show Ohtani giving up 6 ground balls, 1 fly ball, and they have his strikeouts to walks.
Okay.
But for whatever reason, they don't have him in the box score as how many innings and all that. It's totally weird because they have all of China's pitchers are there. They actually add up to 9 innings, which is a plus. But for whatever reason, Ohtani's line is not there. So yeah, he did pitch. He started the game, went 4 innings, probably that limited like you're talking about. And then for whatever reason, it's not in the box score.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, any parting thoughts?
Yeah, we got some. So it's, where did I put that? It's Women's Month, March. And so on that, 1979, the Major League Baseball Commissioner, Bowie Kuhn, ordered baseball to give equal access to all female reporters. So obviously, even in, right before 1980, female reporters are starting to get there. Obviously, we know there's a lot of stuff that happened in locker rooms in that time frame, but they were given the green light to have all equal access to the players. In 84, Philadelphia 76ers blocked 20 shots in one game to tie the NBA record of blocked shots in a game. And then one other one, the 1995, the Tampa Bay Devil Rays was awarded its franchise on this day, 1995. So that's how we got the old Tampa Bay. Now they're just the Rays because apparently the Devil Rays was not looked at very positively. Not a lot, but most of it is tournament winners, tournament guys, points. There was another one with Wilt Chamberlain scoring 67 points, but I figured I'd done him a few times, so I didn't want to do Wilt Chamberlain again. But that guy was amazing, obviously, so.
You mentioned Women's History Month, March.
That's the word I was looking for.
In relation to that, my final thought is women's hockey is also this month, their championship. The Frozen Four, the national title game will be on ESPN, and the playoffs start March 17th through the 19th. So if you want to catch some women's college hockey, check it out the end of this month. Roger, any parting thoughts?
No, just, I guess one thing I got written down here that we didn't touch on was Ovechkin. He's got, 36 goals with, 20 games to play. So he's right there. I mean, if, just doing quick math, that's around 49 goals. And of course, the Capitals look like a team that's not going to make it to the postseason. So,
right.
I mean, when it comes down to the final 8, 10, 12 games, and the Capitals are not looking to get into the playoffs, does Ovechkin just turn it up, saying, well, I don't have to save myself for the playoffs? And just, will he hit that 50-goal mark is what I'm getting at.
I don't think it looks good for him. They're definitely struggling. And to get there, he needs help. So even if he says, I don't need to save myself, or the other guy's checked out, I hope not, because it's a sport. But they're not looking good this year for sure.
I felt sorry for him because he had to go back home. One of his parents was ill and then passed away. So, I mean, had he been able to be there for all the games during the season, I think he could have had it. But I don't remember how many games he sat out due to that grieving. So I my heart goes out to you, Ovechkin, because you come back and you play, and with that weighing on you, that's just got to be tough for the guy.
Yeah, and then going back to WBC, just a couple things to touch on is the U.S. The manager is Mark DeRosa. So when I seen that, I was like, that's just like the Colts hiring Jeff Saturday. Why is Mark DeRosa our manager? There's 1,000 other coaches out there that'd be better than him, but it just goes to show you it's just a team filled with talent. Do you really coach them? You just send them out there to do their thing.
Yep.
I mean,
and how bad do they want to win? Because I can see these other countries seem like they really want to win it and showcase their talent, but it seems like when the U.S. gets in there, it's exhibition. I mean, they just got their butt handed to them by the San Francisco Giants with this loaded lineup. Giants, they didn't even get a run. They got mowed down. I think they only had 4 hits. Trout went 0 for. I don't know when the U.S. goes in there, unfortunately, it's not like when we go into the Olympics. They don't seem to be. There's almost like, hey, just kind of coach them, make whatever pitching changes you want and, set the lineup, let it set itself, like you're saying.
Yeah.
I would like to see a really good coach go in there and push these guys, say, hey, win.
Yeah,
we take a little pride.
We got the most talent.
Right.
Let's just show it.
That makes me wonder, did all the coaches say no? They didn't want the extra headache?
Yeah.
They didn't want the extra work?
Yeah. I mean, I say they have the most, but this Dominican team is, they're wow. Yeah. I mean, they're stacked. They're stacked. So, yeah, like I said, it to me, it's a very fun tournament. And with Trout and Betts and some of the bigger names getting in there.
Paul Goldschmidt.
Of course, USA should have had, what's his name, Bryce Harper?
Yeah,
Am I thinking right?
Hurt.
Yeah, he should have been in it. I mean, it's becoming more popular. Yeah. It's funny that this has been going on since 2003 for 20 years now, and
it doesn't get a lot of hype.
It doesn't get a lot of hype, and this seems like the first year it's getting talked about more than it did 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And 20 years ago, I was big on it. I thought, man, that's going to be a great tournament. And then when Japan won it all, I thought, boy, Japan's better baseball players than I thought they were.
Right.
And they played the game the way we did in the 80s. Just
small ball.
Yeah, just hit the ball on the ground, run, get the guys over.
Put the pressure on the defense.
And if our pitching can just not collapse, we'll win 3-2 games. That's exactly what they've been doing the whole time.
And they want to win, though. They go there saying, we want to win this, and they put all the effort out there. And that's what I love. I'd rather see a team stacked or not stacked. Let's win it. Why go through all these games and all this, tear on the body, whatever you want to say it, and not try to win? If I'm going to be out here, I'm not playing just to have fun out here, fellas. I'm here to win.
While you guys were talking about this, I pulled up the World Baseball Classic webpage, and so Roger said Mark DeRosa is the manager. And then I started looking at some of the other coaches. Ken Griffey Jr. is their hitting coach. Andy Pettit is their pitching coach. So, I mean, there's some big names out here. Again, if you love baseball, this is a tournament that you will want to watch because this is the fundamentals. This is true baseball. This is just the best of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And it's fun.
And not that too many people around here want to watch, Italy play Israel or whoever, but you can watch it at 3 a.m. in the morning. They're not competing with March Madness.
Right. XFL might want to switch to 3 a.m. games.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying if I stay over at work, and have to work till 2, I come home and I flip on a little World Baseball Classic.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Amen.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. I welcome Roger back. This is great to have him back. It's fun. It's fun. Thanks for coming back, Roger.
You bet.
This is another fun show for Blue Collar Sports Talk. I'm Daryl.
Roger.
See ya.
That was James. Go watch some sports.